Once upon a time, in a quiet compound somewhere in Enugu, lived a sweet girl named Adora. She was the pride of her parents and the darling of her church. Adora wasn't just decent, she had what we call premium home training. Her mother was the type that believed a child's waist is too small to carry responsibility, and Adora did not disappoint until her cousin from Lagos, Chisom, came for the holidays and introduced her to the world of Gen Z TikTok. That was when everything began to shift. Chisom opened TikTok one evening and showed her a video of a fine girl with orange hair doing the Golo challenge with a boy who had earrings on both ears. Ada, just see, she said. And these two were dating. They lived together in Lekki. People were commenting love lives here under the video. Adora blinked and she asked, live together without wedding? And the parents allowed it? Chisom laughed and said, babe, this is a new age. Nobody asks for permission again. Everyone is after soft life. From that moment, Adora's journey into the Gen Z hood began. Slowly but surely, she started spending less time reading and more time on her phone, exploring TikTok like Dora the Explorer, and she discovered a whole new world. People cohabiting, doing matching tattoos and calling it wokeness. Girls with lashes long enough to sweep the road, dancing with boys in bonnets and boxers. One day, after strolling endlessly through couple vlogs, where people were eating noodles in bathtubs and calling it romantic breakfast, Adora paused and asked herself, wait, what's the difference between me and these people they are calling power couple? Me self I find, shape I get, my backside is so decent and my front view lacks no discouragement, and I can dance very well. That was the night she decided to join the moving train. Let me just make small money, she told herself, to open my salon and I will return back to being a good girl. She started doing TikToks in one beautiful corner of her father's parlor, and within 2 weeks she was gone. She mentally relocated to the online kingdom of likes and vibes. Eventually, she met a fellow content creator by name Stanley who lives in her locality. Stanley had just one job with 4 ring lights. They started doing couple concerts. Stanley would carry her like a bag of rice and spin her around while Love Quantity played in the background. They started off with fake quarrels. They hid the shame and push out videos they know will go viral. And before you say jack, followers increased, likes rolled in, and so Adora upgraded. One day, her father called her and said, Ada, my daughter, please sit down. What's going on with you these days? Adora pulled out her AirPods and replied, Daddy, nothing is going on. I'm just evolving. Or do you want me to be old school forever? Papa Ada sighed. Her mother Muniada entered the conversation. She had just come back from midweek service, still tying her scarf. Ada, we have noticed that you have changed. You now take pictures with your waist bent like your spine is missing. The way you behave these days, we barely can recognize the daughter we gave birth to. Adora rolled her eyes and replied like a true Gen Z. Mommy, please. That's content creation. Everyone is doing it. Nobody wants to be poor again. At least you people should be happy and not stealing. Papa Ada cleared his throat and tried to appeal to her conscience. But you were always respectful. Have you listened to the kind of words that come out of your mouth? Have you taken time to evaluate your actions these days? You're dressing too, Ada. You spend hours in your room dressing up only for you to walk out uncovered. And that was the spark Adora had been waiting for. She stood up, placed her hand on her waist like a Nollywood wife who just found that her husband took a second wife and said, Daddy, Mommy, let's not pretend. I finished learning how to braid hair, right? But you people never brought that money for my freedom. You said there is no money to settle me. I've been sitting at home for some months. If you people can give me 1 million naira instantly, I will open my salon and continue the humble life. But if you cannot, please let me join the moving train. People are making money online by just being fine and vibing with their boyfriends to trends. I refuse to suffer in Jesus' name. Mommy Ada blinked. So you want to sell yourself for likes? Mommy, forget that talk now. My first pay will soon arrive and you will understand what I'm talking about. Papa Ada held his chest. Adora, this is not how we raised you. You are a golden child. I prove that home training still works in Nigeria. Well, things have changed. Home training without funding is just frustration. That was the day her parents knew their daughter had entered the streets with her food chest. They involved their pastor, but Adora was already wearing lashes like ceiling fans. She posted on TikTok that same day with a caption, "They tried to stop me, but it's already too late because I've gone too far." It didn't take long before Adora joined the latest hustle in TikTok Live. One evening, with her frontal wig boldly shifted 2 inches backward because she hadn't glued it properly and her ring light balanced on a broken bucket, she sat in front of her phone. She wore her satin robe that was doing off-shoulder by force, eyelashes long enough to pick satellite signal, and lips shining with coconut oil mixed with Vaseline. Remember, these were her selling points because these are the kind of things that will make people talk. Then she clicked go live and the performance began. Tap the screen for visibility. If you are new here, drop a rose. If you love me, send me dollars. If you are angry, send me lion. If you are broke, tap and leave respectfully. Show your girl love, please. People in the comment section were both laughing and tapping. Some were calling her funny names. A few, as usual, insulted her and she replied the Gen Z way. Haters we hate, but guess what? We move. Then came the day that changed her life forever. She posted a TikTok skit titled, "When you go visit your online boyfriend and realize he doesn't have a good bed frame." In that video, she and her Stanley were lying on a mattress on the floor, chewing groundnut with reckless confidence, also doing some things that will entice people to watch and saying some real emotional stuffs. They were so real with their acting, and that single video hit 2.8 million views within 1 week. Celebrities gave them money to rent a good space and purchase a good bed frame. Just like that, Adora and Stanley went from level 1 in life to global Gen Z clan princess and prince, and the internet couldn't get enough. By the next morning, her follower count had jumped from 17k to 212k. People were in her DMs. "Hi girl, can we collaborate? We love your content. Can you do a funny skit for our solar powered blender? Please DM for paid partnership, 500,000 naira per post." She screamed and ran out of her room. "Mommy, Daddy, the Lord has done it. I don't finally blow." That same week, TikTok credited her more than 500,000 for creators' rewards. She checked the balance, collapsed and rolled on the floor and was determined to take it to the next level. She grew up like a miracle. She began facing long and sharp nails like a hawk beak. She upgraded too in her skincare and changed her phone from Infinix to iPhone 14 Pro Max. Her parents were in shock. Her father now asked her for data. One evening after dinner, he said, "So all this your waka on top internet has turned to real money." Adora smiled and replied, "Daddy, internet no be curse. I am now an influencer. I make people laugh and I collect the bag. This is not like your generation that collects salary once a month. I collect bags daily like offering." Her father didn't argue because the evidence was clear. But while the glow up was sweet, the pressure was real. DMs began to choke with men offering soft-like proposals with suspicious intentions, girls begging to learn how to go viral, and people dragging her like small tiger generator. She didn't bother. After all, the dragons didn't remove a penny from her bag. Months later, Adora was not just trending, she was trending with evidence. Money was flowing like water in rainy season, and with every brand deal, every viral skit, and every tap-tap live section, her parents' grip on her started to loosen like old slippers. At first, they tried to talk sense into her. Adora, remember the home you came from. What you are doing online is not our way. How can you be showing cleavage to the whole world? But she just smiled and replied, Daddy, it is called marketing. If I don't dress this way, nobody will tap. Her parents tried to really speak up, but she was above them financially, so their talks had no water. One evening, Adora gathered them in the sitting room like she was calling a UN emergency meeting and said, Daddy, Mommy, I love you, but I can't stay here again because it doesn't befit my standards any longer. I and Stanley want to get our own place so that creating content will be easier for us. Her mother nearly slapped her. Who is Stanley? She asked. You mean the mattress boy? Adora flipped her way, rambling straight Peruvian and said, Yes, ma. Our fans and some celebrities gave us money after that video went viral. So we have decided to move to Lekki Phase 2 because that's the real place to mingle with our fellow content creators. Before they could argue, she dropped the mic. Unless you can give me 5 million naira capital today to set up my salon. They were speechless because how did they get 5 million naira and also argue with a daughter who now earns more in a week than her father's pension could pay in 6 months? So off she went with Stanley to the rented apartment with ring lights. Adora and Stanley weren't just living together, they were living loudly with contents everywhere. A day in my life as a young Lagos couple. Join me as I make breakfast for my man. They even opened a joint TikTok, YouTube and Instagram accounts as Stan and Dora. And people ate it up like shawarma in traffic. See couple goals now. God, when? I thought from this soft love, I need my own Stanley, I beg. Every post had thousands of comments, likes and reposts. They were invited to a podcast. So tell us, how did this whole love story begin? The host asked. Adora giggled and replied, It started with one mattress and ended with money. Let's just say our story was from ground to glory. Stanley added, We were just two young Nigerians chasing love and vibes, and here we are. The podcast episode went viral. People began to refer to them as Mr. and Mrs. Stanley. They were featured in influencer campaigns, couples birthday packages, matching hoodie collections and Valentine's Day photo shoots for young modern love. As the fame grew, a few people started raising questions online. Is this the example we are setting for the youth? Living together without marriage is wrong no matter how we twist it. For heaven's sake, where are their parents? But immediately, the Gen Z internet army will strike back like keyboard adventures. Who made you assistant Jesus? Allow people to live the truth. You all be mad at cohabiting but quiet about married people cheating. Sinners judging sin differently. All Adora saw was content from the comments, and so she went live. She said a lot of things and the internet broke again. One day, after living together for like 6 months, Adora had just finished filming a cook and slay with me content. She was still in her kitchen when she threw up. Stanley called distress and asked her to rest. But over the next few days, Adora noticed plenty suspicious symptoms. Her oranges were becoming heavy like Dangote bag of cement. Her waist felt like it had no strength. And worst of all, her period ghosted her like an unpaid vendor. At first, she laughed it off saying she would be fine. But deep down, her inner woman was shouting, You know what this is. So she did what any true Gen Z queen would do. She filmed the pregnancy test result for content. The video showed her holding the pregnancy strip with a background music of God I beg, zooming in dramatically on the 2 red lines like it was a red carpet moment. It went viral. 2.4 million views in just 2 days. The comments blew up. Oh my god, our favorite couple are expecting a cutie. Bloggers themselves weren't left behind. They had different narratives from the video and drove traffic to their pages. But Stanley and Adora didn't care what people said about them. Instead, they capitalized on the pregnancy like business people in the rich and main markets. They turned every single pregnancy milestone into content like, come with us to our first scan. Craving Chronicles, Adora demanded shawarma at 2:33 a.m. Sponsored by a food delivery brand. By the third semester, Pampers brand DM'd there. At this point, it is so sad seeing bad things thrive more than good things. Some older followers tried to shame them in the comments. You are not married and you are proudly posting pregnancy. But Adora didn't flinch. She replied with her full chest. Marriage is a ring and baby is a whole human being, so which one should I celebrate first? She even posted a photo holding her baby bump with the caption, if you are paid, just block me and move on. As the due date drew near, Adora did TikTok labor prep challenge, walking with tissue on her head, dancing to calm down while her belly bounced like talking drum. Then finally, Labor Day came. And of course, Stanley loved it. They gave birth to a baby girl, called her Rosalie, and gifts poured in like water. The day they did the naming ceremony, their co-content creators graced the occasion, everyone with a tripod stand making content, and so it went viral. Rosalie didn't rest from the one of coming into the lives of Adora and Stanley. If she was sleeping, eating, or anything at all, they were videoing. As she turned 11 months, the countdown began. Every of the posts was ending with, don't forget, Rosalie is turning 1 soon. It's going to be a shutdown, don't play. And then the big day came. Because they had bragged so much about the big one birthday party, they decided to show off and make it a carnival. They hired a luxury events planner. The birthday had a gold and pink theme titled Pretty Since Birth, a 3-tier cake taller than the celebrants and customized party packs. The highlight was what they turned the baby to, all in the name of fashion. They got a celebrity hairstylist to install a mini frontal wig on her tiny head, as in, the closure was laid. Then they painted her nails. Yes, her tiny fingers with full face makeup, mini sunglasses with Rosalie initials, a tutu gown so puffy that she couldn't sit. The little girl was just crying because it was too much as she changed like 3 times for just 1 year birthday party. Adora carried her daughter like Simba in Lion King, shouting, she's not just a baby, she's a lifestyle. The birthday vlog was titled, she turned 1 but she's already a diva. That video hit 1.2 million views in 1 day. Comments read, this baby is already living the life I begged for at 25 with a crying emoji. What happened to the good old days of rice and ribena at birthday parties? Makeup care for a 1 year? No, now this is not right. This is too much for a child. What are you teaching her? Adora saw another content from all these comments and nothing more, so she went live immediately and clapped back. You people will shout, allow kids to be kids. Is Rosalie your child? I am her mother and I dressed my baby just the way I want. Is there any problem with that? I beg all of you should rest. My baby is fine and loved, and her wig can feed your generation. She made money from that particular content, and that was all that mattered. This continued, and when the traffic on her page was low, she knew how to trigger her audience, and boom, millions of views will be gathered. By the time Rosalie was 2, her first word was tap tap. While other kids were learning nursery rhymes and how to write the letter A, Rosalie already knew how to do a soft life walk, how to blow kiss to the ring light, and most shockingly, how to bend and twerk like her mother. and her mother didn't correct it. Instead, she recorded it, added viral audio and captioned it, like mother, like daughter. Within 2 hours, the video hit 900k views, and by nightfall, it increased to 1.6 million. Comments were wild. Some clapped, but behind the keypad, they said, "What's my business with someone who doesn't see anything wrong with what her daughter is doing? We will watch and stroll and teach our daughters better." Some people tried to speak up, correcting her in love. "This is not cute, my dear. Please let her grow up well. This is not empowerment, it's exposure. Please don't do this to your children, all in the name of content." But Adora wasn't hearing any of that. She went live immediately and said, "You all should leave me alone. No. Let me make my content in peace, I beg. If it's paining you, go and hold transformer." Then she faced her daughter and then said, "Come and show them that new step. Yes, bend it, turn, bounce it. Hey, that's my girl." With every video of Rosalind dancing or giving attitude, Adora's page grew. By the time Rosalind turned 4, she was officially certified. She had learned so many moves, and at home it was entertaining, but pre-nursery it was confusing. In class, when the teacher Miss Janet asked the children to describe the song, Rosalind raised her hand confidently and said, "It is giving yellow beauty. Pour?" Miss Janet paused like someone that mistakenly beat Pepe. Another time during handwriting class, while the other kids were saying A for apple, Rosalind shouted, "A is for a wolf," as in free vibe. When the teacher read it out, one child started crying. He thought he missed a new topic. She practically was saying things not her age, and she knows just too many mature things. Disturbed and worried, the school called for an urgent meeting with her parents. Miss Janet sat across from Adora and Stanley with a deep sigh. "Sir, Madam, we are really concerned about Rosalind's vocabulary and behavior. She's mimicking things that are not age appropriate, things that are so heavy for my mouth to say." Stanley was chewing gum. Adora crossed her legs, adjusted her waist. "Miss Janet," she said respectfully, "this generation is just built differently. Rosalind is expressing herself. It's not like she's saying things that are out of place. She's just, vibing." Miss Janet tried again gently. "Madam, I understand, but a 4-year-old shouldn't be saying some things." Adora started giggling. "Ha! That girl has content in her blood." The teacher was surprised. "Madam, this is not content. This is pre-nursery, and the earlier the better." Adora rolled her eyes dramatically and pulled out her phone. "You know what? It's okay. I am even going to go live. Let me talk to my followers about this harassment. You people want to dim Rosalind's shine because she's too advanced. But guess what? You can't, because we have gone too far." She stormed out and went live. "Hey, my besties. So we just left Rosalind's school and they are mad because she's not a basic baby. Tap the screen if you believe in raising confident queens from day one." Stanley gave the phone a peace sign in the background and added, "They can't dim her lights." The internet cheered again. The video hit 670,000 views by the next morning. Comments poured in. "The teacher is clearly jealous. Rosalind is the whole vibe. Let her express herself. These Gen Z babies are not here to play." And just like that, Rosalind got her first influencer deal from a kiddies fashion brand that loved her confidence. She was styled in mini sunglasses, handbag for her photo shoots. By the time Rosalind turned 18, she was not just a content creator, she was now an online hurricane, and her followers called her the Queen of Chaos and Minister of Vibes. And truly, she lived up to it. She didn't know how to wash her clothes, didn't know how to boil water, didn't know where the Psalms were in the Bible, but she would quote TikTok Psalms like scripture. She had 900,000 followers and a management team. Meanwhile, Adora and Stanley, her loving Gen Z parents, third influencer couple, were now in their early 40s. They had built their parenting on three things: slay, soft life, and money. No family values, no spiritual roots, and no deep conversations. Just ring lights, trendy sounds, and captions like, "My child is not rude, she's expressive. I want to be her friend, not her prison warden. We are breaking generational trauma." And so when Rosemary turned 19 and got her first million brand deal, she did what most content babies raised on vibes do. She moved out quietly. Years later, Adora, now older, no longer trending, tried to reconnect with her daughter. She messaged her, but the reply she got made her cry throughout that night. Not because her daughter had become rude, but because she realized she had raised a stranger. She remembered when people used to clap for her parenting style, when they called her a cool mom, when they said, "No need for morals, I beg, we are just vibing." Now, the vibe was gone, and all that remained was silence, regrets, and recycled ring light bulbs. And so the circle continued. Rosalie moved in with another man and kept on shouting. Tap tap the screen, and people were clapping again, not realizing that the script hadn't changed, just the actors. Hey, African Tales by Karma Tribe. How are you all doing? I just had to put out this story because of what we are experiencing in this generation, and I believe that you learned one or two things. If yes, let me get to it from you in the comment section. Before I leave today, I would like to say this. This story is a wake-up call to the Gen Zs. I, Kama, fear for this generation. Not because we don't have talent, but because we are too distracted to develop it. I fear for this generation, not because we lack sense, but because we have traded wisdom for clout and truth for trends. We want soft life, but avoid hard work. We want luxury, but reject responsibility. We crave freedom, yet hate correction. We celebrate aesthetics, but ignore character. Our generation knows how to edit a picture, but not how to edit a bad attitude. We can dance on TikTok, but can't stand in the presence of elders without rolling our eyes. We call it vibes, when in truth is lack of discipline dressed in filters and slang. We are quick to say, it's not that deep, but the consequences, oh, they are very deep. Children now raise themselves on screens, while parents compete for likes. Morals are mocked. Modesty is now old school in my generation. Shamelessness is now confidence, and anyone who dares to speak the truth, we call them haters, judgmental or outdated. But let me tell you this, beauty will fade, trends will change, followers will disappear, but your choices, they will stay with you, and some will stay forever. This life you are playing with, it is not a rehearsal. You are not a brand, you are a person. Don't sell your future for temporary attention. Don't mistake likes for love or views for value. There is still hope. There is still time to sit up. There is still time to ask for wisdom, to build real values, and to break the circle, because one day your child may grow up and do to you exactly what you are doing now, and then you will remember this counsel, and God forbid it to be in tears. And dear parents, no matter the trend, no matter the noise online, no matter how far the world has shifted, your child, my own children, can be different. Yes, we are raising children in a generation where right is mocked and wrong is celebrated, where morality is boring and madness is monetized. But we don't have to follow the crowd. Your home doesn't have to blend into the chaos. Be intentional. Don't let ring lights raise your child. Don't hand them over to influencers who only care about engagements and not guidance. Don't trade parental presence for digital silence. The truth remains that many of the so-called successful people online will grow old and realize they were wealthy but deeply alone. Fame is loud, but it doesn't hug you when you are broken. Money can open doors, but it cannot build character or restore a lost soul. When you ignore values now, you will pay for it later. You will wish you had taught them how to kneel in prayer instead of pose for clout. You will wish you had insisted on home training instead of tolerating that's how Gen Z behaves. You will wish you taught your daughter that she's more than her body and your son that he's more than his ego. Yes, this generation is different, but so was Daniel in Babylon. So was Esther in a godless palace. So can your child be a light in the darkness? Refuse to be a passive parent. Correct with love. Guide with patience. Pray with fire. And never forget that a child with value will go farther than a child with virality. I hope this story makes you well. Kindly give it a thumbs up and share out to your loved ones. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly do so. And until I bring another exciting story your way, it's a goodbye from here, and God bless you.